Hey everyone, this is Daniel,
And I'm Jun,
and we are
Korean.
American. June,
What's up?
we made it.
We made it. What?
It's the end of the year.
It's the end of the year, yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we recorded and released at least one episode every week
Yeah.
for the last 5 months.
Wow, that's a milestone.
We did it.
We
Yeah,
did it.
We
Yeah.
did it.
I didn't think we would come this far.
Yeah, Tell the truth. How long did you think we'd last?
To be completely honest, I didn't even know that we're gonna publish
Yeah.
because there was a long period where we were just recording and we weren't publishing it.
Yeah,
So when we actually published, that was a milestone, I think.
for sure.
Yeah, that's a moment that I remember a lot.
Yeah, I felt a little, what's the right word? Nervous, uneasy,
Yeah.
like, not that I ever expected, not that we are big, but not that I ever expected to or cared to get big.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like anytime you release something like creatively, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like self-doubt and like, oh, what are people going to think?
Mm-hmm.
Is this my best work? Is it
Mhm.
ready? Right?
Yeah.
So,
I think I'm still in that phase a little bit.
I am very impressed that we made it this far.
I am too.
Yeah.
And especially it's very meaningful because I'm also having a lot of fun
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't feel like an obligation.
Yeah. At the same time, it is a time commitment.
But I actually do look forward to
I
our
do look
recordings
forward to
every
it.
week.
Yeah. I do too. It's just that was the one thing I thought, oh, at some point we would have, been busy
Mhm.
traveling or
Mhm.
whatever, work stuff or whatever it might be, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, we made it work. We
Mhm.
recorded in advance. We
Mhm.
recorded multiple episodes per day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Can I say something very Korean?
Okay.
This is all because of our listeners.
Wait, why is that very Korean?
I don't know. It just feels very Korean thing to say. Like, oh, it's like 여러분 덕분입니다.
Yeah.
It's very humble,
Yeah, but I think that doesn't sound Korean to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just a universal thing.
No, but even in our, this is going to be a wrap up episode.
No, but
We're still talking about culture.
Yeah, but I actually do mean it. Yeah. I mean, I think we would have still recorded even if we didn't have any listeners. I mean, we talked about this.
Yeah.
Right? What do we still want to record if we don't have any listeners? And the answer
Yeah.
was yes, right?
Yeah.
So I think we would have, but definitely far less motivating.
For example, last night I was in bed 11:30,
Yeah.
ready to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, "Oh shoot, I forgot. We have to publish tonight." And you had done all the editing, but I wanted to give it another listen through.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was motivated to get out. I was like, "Hey, yeah, people might want to listen to us and expect it out at a certain time." So
Yeah.
got out of bed and actually, stayed up till 1 or so
I
finishing.
appreciate it.
No, that's not what I was saying. I was just saying all of that is, if we had 5 or 10 listeners,
Yeah.
I would have just done it the next day.
I would have happily did it myself too if I were in your situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it really is because we know there's an audience,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I'll talk about it more later, but
Yeah.
that's what makes it really meaningful, I think.
Yes. But I
Um,
also wanted to talk about the year end, right?
Yeah.
How is this your third time experience a year end in Korea? Third, second,
Wow, I guess third. Yeah.
third?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just curious, like, what do you feel like? How do you understand the mood of year end in Korea, especially in comparison to the US?
Yeah, the December to January transition in Korea
Mhm.
feels like super understated. It's like nothing here.
Yeah.
Work continues. There's
Yeah.
no things like company-wide freezes, right?
Yes.
There's no implicit understanding that everyone's traveling. So
Mhm.
everyone's kind of taking at least the last 2 weeks of December off, whether
Mhm.
you are technically or not.
Mhm.
Christmas decorations have been around a while,
Mhm.
but even Christmas feels very different here.
Mhm.
Much more focused on couples rather than family, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Very commercial.
Very
right?
commercialized, which, it is in the US too, but there's just less of a family angle here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Basically a marketing opportunity. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
but
in
like-
comparison to
Yeah.
what is it? The Korean New Year, 설날,
Mhm.
right?
I was gonna bring that up because I think one of the reasons that the year end doesn't really feel like it's a big deal in Korea because traditionally Korea used to follow the lunar
Mhm.
calendar, so
Yeah.
the year end doesn't I mean, literally, it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's not even the year end.
Yeah.
And so there are two different types of New Year's. We call it 구정,
Mm-hmm.
the old New Year,
Mm-hmm.
and then 신정, which is the new New Year. 신정 means
This New Year.
Yeah, January 1st
Okay.
in the solar New Year.
Yeah.
구정 is the lunar New Year.
Yeah.
And I like that there are two New Years
Mm-hmm.
just because there's another holiday.
Red Calendar Day, they call it, right?
Yeah. But what I don't like about having two New Years is that you don't feel like it's a kickstart, right? If there's only one New Year, it's like, oh, it's like the beginning of the year, I'm going to do something. And then right after that, you have another long New Year, which is kind of weird.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I get it.
But anyways, I just wanted to mention that. Also, speaking of New Year's and Christmas, Christmas decorations are crazy in Korea.
They're crazy.
And there's some, I think there are a couple that are really in hype. The first one is I guess the LED display in front of the 신세계 백화점 in Myeongdong.
Yeah, we went there.
Yeah, I saw your story.
Yeah.
I think I've been there 2 years ago or last year.
Yeah.
But I haven't visited yet this year. How was it?
It was crazy. Yeah, it was really awesome. Our kids are kind of mesmerized by this big LED display and with Christmas videos going on. And, there were also lights surrounding it too.
Mm-hmm.
I was slightly disappointed because there wasn't like an awesome place to kind of take pictures from, if that makes sense. You had to like cross the street, go around. There was a big crowd there. So while it was like a visual experience, you couldn't like, at least we didn't get close to it, walk through it. And there wasn't like a very clean opportunity to take pictures from. But yeah, it was really cool and beautiful.
Do you know what I think about that?
What?
I was actually very underwhelmed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the largeness and the scale of the LED because it literally covers the entire building, right? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the visual itself, I thought was kind of tacky.
Generic, yeah. I'd agree.
I think there's so much more opportunities.
Can I be honest then too?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I mean, for me, an LED display, it's not that cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather walk through. This is what I meant. I'd rather walk through and experience like beautiful lights and decorations rather than like a big LED display. So I was also underwhelmed, but I was trying to be polite.
It's just for the gram.
Yeah.
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 And so there's another one, because I said there are a couple.
Yeah.
Is the decoration inside the Hyundai department store. And I think it started from last Christmas where they created like a little like Christmas village thing.
Yeah.
On the top level of the 백화점.
Mm-hmm.
That place is crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about going there.
Yeah.
But I think it was last year. I had a chance to go into the department store. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's that thing. So let's just go visit, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously there was a line. And like how in Korea, there's always like a tablet thing that you can register, that you can like virtually be in line.
Yeah. There
was like, I think it was like 600, 700.
People ahead of you?
Not people.
Oh, groups.
Oh, so at that point, I didn't even bother.
Yeah, are you even going to get in that day? That's crazy, yeah.
But anyways.
No, Koreans go all out for the decorations. Even the public square around here, right? They have a big light thing going on. It's really beautiful. And one difference contrasting it to the US, two things I'll say. It starts really early in Korea. I don't know when the exact date is. But in the US, I think it's Thanksgiving season up until end of November. And then, December 1st or whatever, okay, Christmas season. That's when everything goes up. But in Korea, there's no Thanksgiving, or at least American Thanksgiving, right? Of course. And so lights are up as early, I think November 1st is when it officially starts. Like lights are up early is what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's true. I think in this year, it was particularly more early because as far as I understand, so again, everything is a marketing scheme, right? So there's Halloween, and then Korea, because we don't have Thanksgiving, we go straight into Christmas.
Yeah.
But because Halloween was kind of canceled this year,
because of the Itaewon tragedy,
I
2 years
think
ago.
Christmas started earlier.
Oh, yeah. They want to like start something, get the marketing hype.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways.
The second difference I want to call out, and it's kind of related to what I was mentioning, like Christmas is not as family oriented in Korea, but I noticed kind of an absence of Santa. So
Really?
Santa is like a huge part, right, of the Christmas tradition and spirit. And, you take your kids. I just saw a picture today of like my youngest like crying on Santa's lap, which is a classic photo, right? But I just don't see as many Santas everywhere, or Santa like, you can go visit Santa and whatever. I don't know if that resonates with you, but
I haven't realized that,
Oh,
but
yeah.
maybe it's true. There are
Yeah.
Santa decorations here and there, but I don't think he's like in the middle, in the centerpiece of Christmas,
Yeah.
like it is in the US.
yeah.
I have another question now that you mentioned Santa.
Okay.
Do your kids listen to the podcast?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay, then I won't ask this question.
Oh, what were we gonna ask? Do they know that Santa Claus?
Do they know that he's real?
Yeah, no comment. I think
Okay.
it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, our older one knows what's up, not
Okay.
only with Santa, but the Tooth Fairy, etc.
He's smart.
He's smart. He's
Yeah.
also generally kind of a skeptical person. So anyway, he's funny.
Yeah.
But the younger ones are somewhere in between. Yeah.
I see. Did Santa prepare presents for your kids this year?
Yes, they're receiving presents not only from us as parents, but
Mm.
from Santa as well. So.
I think I knew it like 4th grade.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think I ever believed in Santa Claus myself. Yeah. But yeah, I believe our second daughter is planning to put out milk and cookies, and Santa is planning on eating them. But yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention. This is more me personally, not like a US thing overall. But because Korea has the 4 seasons, I also feel like when it's wintertime, it's much easier to tell the passing of time. And for whatever reason, it gets me more in the reflective mood and mindset.
I see.
When it's cold, when it's snowing, when you're spending a lot more time indoors with family, not as much to do. And I just, I've always said this, but being in California for 16 years, it's one long season of, again, glorious, perfect weather, to be clear. But at the same time, it's harder to measure and tell the passage of time. And it just felt a little different. Being back where there's 4 seasons, I definitely find myself understanding, another year has gone by. Time to reflect, time to think about the next year coming up. So I really appreciate that about the 4 seasons. Yeah.
I think that's a very refreshing point of view because it's it's very valid.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of Korean people underestimate how good we have it here because we have the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I complain too.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Winters are so cold right
this
now.
winter in particular.
Specifically, it's so cold right now.
Jun, is this the coldest winter you've experienced in Korea? Like, can you think of a colder one?
I did hear it in the news that this winter is like record-breaking cold.
It's really cold.
I heard
It's like single digit Fahrenheit. Yeah.
This is what I heard. It's because of the North Pole or the South Pole or whatever is melting, and the cold water is flowing into whatever.
I mean, climate change, right? It's all accountable. Yeah.
But anyways, I heard that's one of the explanations of this cold weather.
Yeah. The summers are getting hotter and the winters are getting colder. I think that's true.
What's your favorite season?
Oh, I'm an autumn guy. Yeah.
You're an autumn
Fall.
guy.
Yeah.
It suits you.
Emo, melodramatic, reflective. Yeah. Things are winding down and slowing down. Yeah.
For a long time, for me, it was winter.
Really? Yeah.
But now I'm gearing towards more spring.
Okay. Yeah. I think spring's probably the most popular, right?
Yes. I mean, like theoretically, yes. But in Korea, again, like there's the dust season and all.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So it's becoming less and less favorable for me. But
cherry blossoms, though,
cherry
like
blossoms
it's beautiful.
are amazing. Yeah.
It's the best weather in Korea, I think. But yeah, anything else in the intro?
It was a long intro.
I didn't know you were going to talk about that.
It's like year end.
It's year end.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. So I wanted to do a wrap-up episode to commemorate this first year and I guess first 5 months, really, of podcasting, Korean American podcast.
Yes.
So some quick stats. So far, we've released 24 episodes.
24 episodes. That I know.
We have 3,270 downloads total.
3,000?
Yeah, over 3,000 downloads. So 3,000 episode listens.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah. 993 minutes of content produced. So I think on average, our average episode was 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been getting longer, right?
Yeah.
We've had to be very intentional about trying to shorten them.
Yeah. But imagine the recording time. If you think about recording time, that's more than 24 hours if you think about
for sure.
time.
And we have listeners across 51 countries.
51 countries?
Yeah.
Wait, how many countries entered the Olympics?
Dude,
Is that more than 51?
More than 100, I think. Yeah.
What about the World Cup?
Isn't it 32? It starts with 32, right? Yeah.
51?
Yeah.
What's the most outrageous country that we've never thought of?
Oh, outrageous. Let me look it up. I guess I'm most surprised. I think our third highest viewed country is Germany.
Germany.
Yeah. Wait,
Wow.
let me make sure this is right.
Shout out to Germany.
Seoul, Korea number 1, US number 2. That all makes sense.
We don't know the city or anything, right?
We have some data into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let me actually see if I can
I'm
find.
just imagining some like super hipster dude from Berlin.
Yeah, Germany's our third highest country. Yeah, even ahead of Canada.
That's cool.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, cities are no surprise. In order, top to bottom: Seoul, San Francisco, Seongnam, San Jose, New York, St. Louis, Missouri. Shout out St. Louis, who's listening to us from Missouri.
Nice.
But yeah,
That's so cool. We're a legit global podcast.
I think when we first started this, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but I said I would have been very happy with anywhere from like 50 to 100 listens total.
Yeah.
Per episode, right? But we're well past that. Our earlier episodes have around 200 listens. And across, especially if you combine YouTube views too, we're getting about 100 listens per week, like in the first 7 days. So, yeah, I mean, that's well surpassing my expectations at the outset. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Mine too.
Yeah. Cool. So another stat is we have about 916 listens in the trailing 30 days. It's like a 30-day window moving average. And the reason why this is significant is getting to 1,000 here. We're at 916. If we get to 1,000, I think we technically qualify for monetization.
Oh.
Not that we're going to or need to or want to, but it's still a cool milestone. Yeah. Should I list our top 5 episodes?
Yes. In terms of listens,
In terms of listens. And again, it's more biased towards the earlier ones. I think people start from the beginning and work their way through the library. But episode 1, of course, the pilot. Our next most popular one was episode 2, Too Sweet or Not Too Sweet,
I
around
like that
food.
episode.
I like that one.
Yeah.
The next most popular one was episode 4, Do You Even Lift?
Do you even live?
Yeah, around beauty.
Yeah.
The next most popular was our third, An Ounce of Prevention, around healthcare. And this one's a bit of a, it jumps ahead. So our 5th most popular episode was episode 9, the 80-hour school week. Yeah, about education.
Oh, education. Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of parents are listening to
I do
podcast.
think a lot of our audience is parents. So June, that's I think our podcast summary. I want to move to TikTok. Recently, we started doing them, but you've been prolific in posting these. We have 10,000 total views across all our TikTok posts.
Yeah. I believe one is very accountable.
Yeah, almost half of them are coming from one, which hit 4,700.
Yeah, but I think I mentioned this before, but I have newfound respect for TikTok, and now I understand why like everyone wants to market it on TikTok and everyone wants to make a TikTok video.
Yeah.
TikTok is so powerful.
It's a beast,
their reach. Yeah. Because I especially understand this because I publish to all 3 platforms.
Yeah.
Our short form videos, right? Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And yeah, it's incomparable.
Yep. We get by far the most views on TikTok.
Yeah.
Moving on to YouTube, our most viewed YouTube video. Admittedly, our content's not geared towards long form video, but we have 60 views on Hold the Onions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This was about culture, I think, specifically. Lack of customization is one of the main points there. Yeah.
Why do you think all of a sudden?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe the thumbnail is the most interesting.
Is it onion season?
Maybe. Onions are trending globally.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so that one also surprised me. But, they're steadily getting up to like 25 to 30-ish views each. So who knows how many of those are bots, but still.
Yeah.
And then the final stat I wanted to mention, we have 2 Patreon subscribers.
Yay.
June. It's like, I feel like you can actually call yourself whatever if you're getting paid to do it.
Creator.
We're still in the whole
Content creator.
$28 a month. One generous advertiser could make us break even with that, but yeah, no, it still means a lot that people would pay to listen to us. So yeah, thank you for the support. All right, those are all the stats I had.
That was very impressive.
Yeah, I'm so fun to just reflect.
I'm very happy with where we are right now.
Yeah.
And I'm very looking forward to what our year-end wrap-up would be for 2024.
Ooh, yeah.
Think about it.
Can we make it, June? Another 52 episodes.
Yeah, I think we could.
I think we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Cool. So I think I wanted to transition and just, have some back and forth on a few topics.
Sounds good.
So, June.
Yes.
Out of these 24 episodes we've released, do you happen to have a favorite one?
I do.
Yeah. Which one is it?
And I generally like our more recent episode, which is, I think it's a good thing. Because we're getting used to it and we like the content more.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite episode was the 90s episode.
Oh,
what was
yeah.
it called? Like the one with all the 90s
Yeah,
references?
the one with all the 90 references. Yeah.
I like that because it made me walk my memory lane.
Yeah.
And also because I think a lot of times the focus is on Korean culture.
Yeah.
Whereas in that episode, it was like very parallel. And I really liked listening to your childhood experiences.
Interesting. Yeah.
And we're pretty much the same age.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting because we're living the same era.
Yeah.
And just to compare how different it was very, very interesting to me personally. So yeah, I liked it.
Your answer is so much more deeper than mine.
What was your favorite episode?
It was Won't You Be My Neighbor, which was about relationships.
Why so?
I just love the intro for that one. Like, I'm still curious, like, who your neighbor is.
That one.
Because you talk about us living parallel lives, right?
Yeah.
We have, right? But, like, you and them are also living parallel lives. And, like, you've now met them.
Yeah.
By the way, have you ever met them again?
I think, like, once or twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff I love. I love serendipity. And I love thinking about, like, oh, there's this, like, next door neighbor that you don't really know.
Yeah.
Which is also, to me, like, still sad. Again, June, you should know your neighbors. But yeah, like, I don't know. I just love the intro for that. That was a lot of fun for me.
It's so interesting because for the same topic, the way I understood is more like suspense and mystery.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think you had a more like
mellow,
warm-hearted.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
We have different lenses on life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was your favorite episode.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first one that came to mind. I love them all. I will say the earlier episodes, right? I had just such a backlog of, like, the bigger breakthroughs and conclusions that I just wanted to talk about. So I feel like over time we have been getting less, I guess, what's the right word? Maybe less heavy or less, like, deep and meaty conversations. But I think they're getting, I like the more recent episodes, but I like the earlier ones just because it was just like, these 10 things I had to get off my mind.
Yeah.
And now it's more for fun. Like, there's less pressure.
Yeah.
In that sense, I like it. Yeah.
That was my guess for having more engagements for our earlier episodes too. Because they were like so grand in
huge topics.
Yeah.
Which we tried to squeeze in one. And now in hindsight, we could have probably broken each of those up into 3 or 4 each.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, June. How about on the other side? Did you have a least favorite episode?
Yes, and you probably know because I complained about this last night specifically. It's kind of unfortunate, but my least favorite episode was our most latest episode, which was the language episode.
Yeah.
The Dork with Strengths.
Yeah.
The reason is because, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed during recording.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun. And that was actually my idea. But so when I was editing, I really got to see it in a third person view. And it's like, it just felt like one of those moments where you're at a 회식 and you see like these like 부장님s, like senior people who's like joking around and it's like they're the only one who's laughing. And
they're the only ones having fun.
Yeah, it's like, it's not really that funny. It was very aje.
Yeah.
And also because it didn't provide a lot of cultural insight.
Yeah.
It did at some degree.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just kind of shallow.
I'd agree. Yeah, it was very shallow.
It was all about the fun, but then it was not that funny.
It was not that fun to listen.
But might be my personal view.
No. Audience, please let us know, listeners. But I suspect it might be more interesting for Korean Americans. Just getting more like understanding of like, Korean language and what's going on and how Koreans like think and talk and shorten things. Yeah. At least that's why I found it fun. But I agree. I think we came across kind of aja. Like we're old. We're so out of touch.
Yes.
My least favorite episode was actually the one about education, the 80-hour school week.
Oh, why?
Because that's the only episode we've re-recorded to release. And so, we had recorded, this was actually the third topic we talked about, but because the audio quality was so bad, it was just unrecoverable. So we decided to re-record it.
Oh,
and I just remember it just felt less authentic, a little bit more inauthentic to me.
Oh, just because of the context of the re-record?
Yeah, just because we had to re-record it. And
That's true.
I think we missed some things that were really great the first time. And it just felt a little less authentic. So I'm all about authenticity.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned re-recording, there's some episodes that we hated so much that we didn't publish. So those are probably our least favorite episodes.
We have two, I think, that we had prepped and processed and everything, but I just didn't want to release them.
Yeah.
At least two, maybe three. Yeah.
But anyways,
should we offer those on our Patreon as at an additional tier?
B cut.
B cut. Yeah. B roll. Yeah. Okay. Jun, next topic. Any lessons learned from our first, 5 months of recording?
Lessons learned. I think the biggest lesson that I learned is that constructive things can also be very fun.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
I mean, some people might think that this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Which it is.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we're having a lot of fun.
Oh, just like this can, like, doing something productive can be fun or constructive? Okay.
Like you say that things that are very healthy for you are always bad in taste.
Yeah, and vice versa,
yeah. But I think there are some things that could be very productive but also fun at the same time. I think it's a good life lesson.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you're learning that lesson?
Pretty much.
Oh, sad. Yeah. For me, one lesson I have is that, I guess at the beginning, I was trying really hard I was spending a lot of time doing post-processing and editing, trying to cut out, every 0.5 second pause, shortening it to 0.3 and just trying to make it super tight.
Yeah.
And it was very time consuming. And I think I was doing this because I was so afraid of kind of wasting listeners' time and also myself, right? Even though I listen to podcasts on 1.5x or whatever, I also want it to just be, a tight package, right? Everyone, every second kind of interesting and entertaining and no fluff. And so I think one of my lessons learned was I don't actually have to invest that much or care that much about editing it perfectly. And not to say that the first ones were, but just to my standard, right? I was spending a lot of time trying to trim every last, 0.1 second out of it that I could. And especially once we started adding video, I think I realized, and also based on what you were telling me too, don't have to care that much about editing as much. Yeah.
On that note, another lesson that I learned is that you just have to start something, right?
Yeah.
Before you even started the podcast, we had there was a long time where we just talked about doing podcasts, but then we're thinking about the logistics and the gear and everything. So there was a long time that we were just procrastinating.
Yeah.
But then once we actually started, right? Yeah. Our beginning, we just had that very cheap one mic.
Yeah.
We recorded with one mic.
And we were using it so incorrectly.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be right up against it, but we were so far away.
But then just by starting that, right, it opened up to a whole new dimension.
Yeah.
And it's actually not that difficult to do things.
Any other lessons from me? Let me think. No, that was a good one. Just do it. Just get started. Yeah. Start from somewhere.
Yeah. Now it doesn't feel like much of a burden to upgrade, but it was the most difficult part was to actually start.
Yeah. I agree with that. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, because we're very far from
no. It's just that's something I tell my kids all the time. Yeah, so it's a good reminder.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to go through overall highlights and lowlights, if there were any. So obviously as a podcast, not personally, the ultimate highlight, we launched, right? We published our first episode humbly. We upgraded our gear. I think we settled into a very sustainable recording and post-production flow. We started to add video. We got our first paid patron. Yeah, I think like those are just some overall highlights throughout the past 5 months. And it's crazy to think it already went by so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have some highlights that I wanted to...
Yeah, let's do it. What are your personal highlights and lowlights, if any?
The biggest highlights was when one of our TikTok videos went viral.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because it's like the first... I mean, to be clear, it's like not even remotely comparable to any like of the actual viral TikTok videos.
Yeah.
But personally, it went up to like 4K. But yeah, I got to experience the moment when it was actually going viral.
Yeah.
That was crazy because I was checking like every, let's say, 15 minutes.
Yeah. And the count kept going up and up. Yeah.
That was very exciting.
Dude, I told you that that one format would be perfect for it. Yeah.
And for our listeners, that episode or that video was the one where we compared, I guess, one US tech company, was it? To a Korean one.
Yeah. What's the Korean equivalent of this US tech company? Yeah.
Out of nowhere, it went viral on TikTok. And it actually influenced our format and the topics that we choose a little bit. Namely, the last language episode.
Yeah.
I think I had like TikTok in mind.
Oh, when you were creating it.
Yeah.
Thinking of the topic. Yeah.
But anyways, another highlight.
Yeah.
Was when we got our new mics.
Yeah.
It dramatically increased our quality of recording.
For sure. Yeah.
That was really fun. And then another highlight was actually included in the bloopers of the latest episode.
Yeah.
When you said 달친.
I still don't understand why it's so funny, but yeah, okay. Anyways, I trust you. I trust you that it's a hilarious mistake.
But yeah, there were some highlights, and I don't think I can think of any lowlights. Like, do you have some?
I have one.
You have one?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe what was it?
Oh. Well, my highlights first. I think the first time we got a listener interaction from someone I didn't know.
Oh, that's true.
It's like actually second degree connection or maybe like a random connection.
That was definitely super exciting.
Yeah, but my wife was like, hey, you got a comment. Like, do you know this person? It seems like they're in Chicago or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, of course I know them, right? Who is it? And they were like, said the name. And I was like, I don't know who that is. And I looked them up. And for sure, I didn't know who it was. So just kind of, I always assumed every single listener would be 1 and at most 2 degrees away from me, right? Just like my friends.
Yeah.
But the first time that actually someone listened and they said they really liked our content that I didn't know directly, yeah, that was awesome. That was really cool.
Yeah. So again, commenting is very important for us.
Yeah. My second overall highlight is not a specific moment, but in general, every time we get a listener interaction, right? Not just a like, but a comment, a message, some follow-up discussion, or even in person. Sometimes, I'm waiting with the 동네 아줌마s. They pick up our kids. And then someone mentioned something about the episode.
Oh, really?
They're like, oh, I also thought the Psy Burger was sponsored by Psy, like the Gangnam Style Psy.
Oh, really?
Right? And it's like, oh, like, it's cool, right? Like, people interact and talk about it. And so it's just another talking point.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think those in general are the highlights. The one lone light I was going to say, I think I remember it was episode 11 or 12. It's when it first started to feel like somewhat of a job. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That was the it was like Tuesday. I hadn't started editing yet. I was like, I got to get to it, right? Recording's always fun. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's the post-processing and editing and coming up with whatever.
I think it's also because that was a time when you were much more meticulously editing, right?
That too. Yeah, for sure.
Now I think editing is much more
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, and we're sharing the load more. So, but yeah, that was the only low light. But other than that, really just all fun.
Yeah. Cool.
Jun, what are you looking forward to in 2024, podcast related?
There are some things that we want to try.
Yeah.
First, in terms of this relates to gear, but we want to gear up a little bit more if we have the chance to use more angles in our videos. I don't know if our listeners realize, but the reason why our video is shooting such in a bird's eye view is because we didn't want it to show our faces that much, because we're not self-conscious of how we look like, but like the public perception. And
I'm still a little not 100% comfortable, right? Like showing my face.
But anyways, that was a reason. And I don't know if anyone realized, but the angle is getting lower and lower.
I think over time we're getting more and more comfortable with,
I think it's a sign of confidence. The lower we get, it means that we're more confident. But we also want to add more angles of the frontal if we have. We haven't decided yet, but that could be an interesting milestone for us next year. Also, in terms of, maybe I'm stealing all of your answers, but
it's okay.
Also in terms of recording format. We definitely want to record one where we have guests.
Yes, for sure.
We have some people that agreed to be a guest speaker. It's just we haven't made it happen yet. So I'm pretty sure it's going to happen sometime next year, which I'm very looking forward to. And also, we've talked about this before, but we also want to try recording in VC format. Because who knows when there's going to be a week where you be away and then we don't have any backlogs to publish, then I think it's just a good thing to try.
All right, you did steal all of them. No, there's one more I'm looking forward to, which is there are a couple episode topics we really would like to talk about, but first we have to kind of do something to experience it, right? And who cares if it's a spoiler? But for example, like I've never attended a Korean baseball game. I heard they're awesome. They're like really fun. And so I want to do that before we talk about kind of sports and sporting events in Korea. So there's a handful of these episode topics that I'm really excited to talk about. But first need to do some pre-work and experience it, it firsthand. So
Now that you mentioned that, I did bring it up when I was talking about cherry blossoms a little bit, but I also want to try outdoor recording.
Okay. That seems very difficult.
No, like as an insert, not the entire episode.
Okay. Just inserting content. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. We're almost there. A couple more segments. Any thank yous or acknowledgements you'd like to make?
I want to thank all of our listeners, but specifically our listener EL, WS, and AM, because they personally, we had interactions and talks with them, and they expressed how much they're enjoying the podcast. So
they gave us the confidence to even pursue or think about pursuing something.
Exactly. So those are my thank yous.
I for sure have to thank, and it's not out of duty, but thank you to my wife, right? This is a time commitment, but she knows it's important to me, and so she always enables me and supports me to honor that and to spend the time, whether it's recording or post-production or whatever. So thank you. And then
I also thank your wife too. For making Daniel available every week.
Jun, I was going to thank you too, which is cheesy, but it's true. Without your location, even though this is far from an ideal, acoustic setup, it works, right? And you always open up your home, and we store all the equipment and gear here. And so and you're always very flexible and willing and ready to either record or help out in whatever way. So I think this couldn't be possible without you as well. And thank you for doing this podcast with me every week. I was hesitant whether I want to say this or not, but when I was talking about highlights, I wanted to say every week is a highlight. Every week is it is actually one of the most exciting times of the week. It's really fun. One person similar to you, origin wise, I think. There is a friend from college. She started a podcast. I guess I should give a plug. It's Kristen Huang's Culture Kids podcast. And, I think she's just all in on it, right? I think she quit her job and she's like just pursuing this creative passion full time. And, she is legitimately passionate about sharing culture, especially with and through her own kids. But for me, I think just seeing her passion and like willingness to just go for it, I think gave me also some confidence, which is like, yeah, why not just launch something?
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be big or popular,
Mm.
but it's still, for me, I've always known I needed like a creative outlet.
Mm.
But I think for too much of my life, I haven't had one.
Mm.
Right? Like, I'm a software engineer, right? That's my background.
Mm.
You know, it's not necessarily known to be the most creative field.
Mm.
And I feel like people have always put me in a box where it's like, oh, you're like good at math and science and STEM, and right? Like, you know, you're not the creative type or whatever it might be. But knowing me personally, I am confident. Probably my strength is creativity.
Yeah.
And so actually having some outlet to produce something, to share my thoughts, I think it's just been really great for me, and something that's, you know, even therapeutic mentally, just like having some way to get creative juices out. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think working in tech for 10 plus years, I think you're probably one of the most creative software engineers that I met.
Oh,
So,
thank you, Jun. Yeah. I should add this in earlier too, but to my wife as well, not just like, you know, creating the time and space, but, you know, I'd say we have a handful of super fans, but she's definitely up there. You know, she was also one of the first to listen to our dry runs and dry recordings before, giving us feedback and actually, you know, telling us, no, this is like interesting for us and for her, and it would be good content. So,
yeah. And I also wanted to thank the fact that she mentioned our podcast multiple times in her Instagram account.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, she's doing her part to spread the word.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cool. Yeah, I think any closing thoughts, Jun, before we end?
No, I just hope that all of our listeners have a great Christmas. Although this episode might be published after Christmas, but have a very happy year end.
We should hit New Year's. We'll miss Christmas, but we'll hit New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a happy New Year.
Yeah. All right. You went first every time.
Stealing your thunder.
No, I think when we started this, Jun, it was really just, you know, we both agreed, right? It's just for fun. We don't care if we get listeners. So definitely, I think that still remains true. It's still fun every time we record, and just having this documented, I guess, history of our conversations. But really, no, thank you for the listeners too, because it makes it that much more meaningful and enjoyable every time we see someone listen, see someone comment, have a discussion about the topics. Makes it that much more rich. And also, it's made my time in Korea more rich. I think about things more deeply and more meaningfully than I would have otherwise, reflecting on my, you know, learnings and experiences here in Korea, and also getting to document them. So, yeah, just really excited to keep, you know, going strong in 2024.
Yeah.
And if you want to share the word with your friends and network, right? If you think there's others that would enjoy our content, give us a shout out on your socials, or, you know, let them know. All right. Yeah, let's end.
All right.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Holidays. Hope 2023 was good for you, and hope 2024 will be even better. So, yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
We have over 10,000 total views
10,000.
across all our TikTok shorts or whatever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But-
Wait, are they called shorts, reels? On Instagram, they're reels. On YouTube, they're shorts.
I mean, TikTok is their platform is just short form videos.
Do we call them TikToks? Posts?
We're so ajay right now. There must be a name for it.